I just recently went through the job search myself, and girl, it's also really sad when you get so far into the interview process and then they're just like, no, no, got you. Stay faithful, stay prayerful, and stay persistent. If I could do it, guys, you could do it. If you take anything from this video, it's like to not be discouraged through the job process, because that is my advice for navigating the job industry. Hey y'all, it's Jovi. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to episode 2 of So You Want to Be a DOBO. During my first episode, I just talked about what a DOBO is and what my journey looked like entering into sports. So definitely check that out. But today's video is just going to be focused on networking and navigating the job industry. My goal with this video is to show you the power of networking and how to strategically manage the job market. So let's get right into it. Networking is just huge in this industry. It's probably one of the most, if not the most crucial parts of navigating the entire industry, finding your career path, finding what you want to do, finding the place for you, the team for you, whether it's with collegiate sports, professionally, minor league, whatever that may look like. Networking is basically the unofficial currency of the sports world. It's the heart of everything that we do, and you need to have a good network in order to be successful in this industry. Now, when I say a good network, I don't mean the quantity of it, but the quality of it. So who in your circle is going to help you navigate this industry? Who can you lean on for advice, ask your questions, be there to be a listening ear, or even potentially have a job opportunity for you? In my experience overall, sometimes the sports world can be daunting, I guess, from the outside looking in. But for me personally, I don't see it as a dog-eat-dog world. Maybe that's because I share about my life on my social media platforms. I post on TikTok and Instagram showing you like the behind the scenes of what a DOBO does. But more often than not, I've always found that people are so willing to help you. People are willing to help you navigate, help you find a job, help you find your passions, whether it's an internship, a volunteer opportunity, or a professional career. You just have to find the right people to do so. Some people will get back to you, some people may not, but you have to find your people that will help you navigate your journey. It's not always going to be a head coach or somebody who has a big name or a big school attached to their resume. It may just be somebody that you find while you're scrolling on TikTok, or somebody you found on YouTube that can give you some helpful advice. So I want to break down the two types of networking: horizontal networking and vertical networking. Horizontal networking is from peers and assistants. So these are people that you're going to work with every day who work in your industry. Maybe they're like a level up or they're right on your level. So for me, this would be other director of operations, DOBO/assistant coach positions, assistant DOBOs, people who are within my realm. And horizontal networking is really important for those times where you're at a point in the season, you're just like, hey, like, how could I do this better? Or, hey, I'm kind of struggling with this area. Or what does your travel budget look like? Or how do you order your gear? So these are people who can help you internally with things that they've already experienced. These are going to be like your close friends, the people that you're going to reach out to, more so on a regular basis, that can offer you advice or just be a listening ear. For me, this has been super great. I've met people through social media, through going to the Final Four, other networking events, and just people that I work with every day. But this networking is so important, and it's less about getting a job from these people and more so just about knowing people in the industry, cheering people on, hearing their stories, and being able to just form a type of community around them. I feel like this type of networking is kind of overlooked as just, like working in the industry, but that is a type of networking, knowing people or other DOBOs who work at different schools or people who work in operations in different sports, and kind of pulling from them and getting ideas on how you can enhance the program that you have, or just having a friend and a listening ear while you're navigating your sports career. The second type of networking is vertical networking. So these are people that you're reaching out that are above you. So this is like head coaches, administrators, different types of mentors. These people will have a better insight into this industry. These are people who've probably been in the industry a lot longer, have had different experience, whether they started as a DOBO, then they went to assistant coach, and they went to head coach, or they started as a manager, went to a DOBO, and now they're an AD. So this is the type of networking where you really want to sit and learn and pull in knowledge. People you could reach out to and ask, you did this big move across the country, or you did a move from D2 to D1. Like, what did that look like? People who you're really, really seeking, bigger advice from. And this, I feel like, can be the daunting part of networking, trying to reach out to those coaches or those administrators, and these people may not have as much time as your horizontal peers, but these are people who can get you that that big job break after you've been working for them for a while, or people who can just help you navigate a really pivotal point in your career as well. So those are the two types of networking, and I would say it's really, really great to have a combination of both. I would say I have a lot more horizontal networking than vertical, but keeping those people in mind and knowing that not everybody in your network has to be like this big name head coach, or not everybody in your network is going to have had the same exact experience as you, but you want to see what you are able to share within that relationship, right? Like, how are you supporting those people who are supporting you, and vice versa. The sports world is more like a hidden job market. There are a ton of jobs posted on NCAA Marketplace, Teamworks, LinkedIn, Hoop Dirt for basketball, a bunch of different websites, and then of course word of mouth. And that is where you're going to get the bulk of your next career move or actual job opportunities. Some institutions just have to post the job, even if they already know who they want to have in that position. It's just protocol. So most times when you're applying to these things online, not always, but most times when it's like an operations position or an assistant coach position, people are going to people in their network that they know of, or if somebody in their network is like, hey, are you looking to have this assistant coaching spot? And they're like, no, I'm happy where I am, but hey, I actually know somebody in my horizontal network that would be great for this position. So that's why relationship building is just so huge. Even though you may be completely qualified for the job, have a phenomenal resume, and even make it to the interview stage, word of mouth is always going to weigh a little bit heavier than someone who they don't know, who they can only look at on paper. Now you know how important networking is and what it kind of looks like, right? Like, it's not always going to be a head coach, it's not always going to be your best friend, but you're going to have like a combination of those people. So after you've built your network, or you reached out to a few people and you got this group around you, right? How do you strategize? Let's say like you're in college or you're just starting out in your career, right? You have these group of people, somebody who works in basketball, a few people work in football, and you have your mentor set. How do you move strategically through this job process in order to get the best result for you? What does reaching out really look like in utilizing that network? You have the network now. What does it look like to utilize that? And there's a couple ways that you can go about it. You can obviously use, your LinkedIn to reach out to people. You can send emails to people. I have people reach out to me via DMs. Again, that's that horizontal network that they're doing if it's through the DMs. If it's an email or LinkedIn, definitely make it more professional. Spell people's names correctly. Make sure you're sending it to the right school. If you have a resume or a cover letter attached to it, make sure the university is spelled right. Keep it as professional as possible if you are going to utilize your email or LinkedIn. If you're going to do more like horizontal networking, like somebody who works in the same industry and you just want to have somebody to kind of bounce ideas off of, sliding through their DMs, getting their phone numbers, whatever that may look like, as long as you know that's going to be more of a personal relationship, not a professional relationship. There are different ways to approach that, and be upfront with what you need, right? Like, if you specifically just have questions you want to ask that person, just be like, hey, I just had this quick question. I saw your profile. I know you did this. Just be very intentional about your networking, because I feel like authenticity is also really, really important, crucial in this industry. So just like people who can help you get places, if you kind of put a bad taste in people's mouths, they can be, I kind of met this guy at the Final Four, and he was just like talking about himself himself and he thought he was all that and he still doesn't have a job. Like, that stuff carries as well. So just being very authentic in your approach is super, super important. And with that being said, don't only network when you need it, okay? You never know when you need people, especially the people you work with every day. So just know that just as much as someone can help you get a job, they can also stop you from getting a job. And it may not be from a person who you think that has all the power. They could just, be on their staff and be like, hey, like, I've had this interaction with this person and they're just not it. Like, they just text me and they just use me instead of like building that relationship. So that's also something just to keep in mind. So now you've built your network, you know how to navigate it, you know how to speak to people, you know who you want to be your mentor. These are the group of people that I have that I can call when I'm on the road, and you feel a little bit more comfortable with your network. Now you need a job. So we have to put together a game plan. Like I said before, there's a ton of platforms that you could utilize for sports specifically. I find these to be really great for things like internships, volunteer opportunities, and occasionally maybe like a grad assistant position or even a DOBO position. So if you are going to utilize those platforms, I'm not saying like jobs will never appear. You'll never make it if you're just going to apply. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But if you are having trouble or you find yourself, like it's been a couple weeks, I don't know what's happening, these are some second step approaches I would take if I've already applied to one of these platforms or a position that has been posted online. Number one, I would follow up if there's any type of email, even if the email is not like attached to the application. You know what program you're applying to, reach out to the assistant coach or the DOBO or whatever position has not been filled. Reach out to everybody else on that staff and say, hey, this is my resume, this is my cover letter, I applied online, like, would love to hear back from you because I'm really interested in this position. I just recently went through the job search myself, and girl, that was my actual first time because I went from a GA and then I was promoted within my program, so it wasn't really a job search. Again, like, that job had to be posted, so somebody was probably saw it online, but even if they did apply online, they really weren't gonna have a chance because my head coach had pulled me and he wanted me to beat the DOBO. But during my most recent search, I applied online a lot of different places, NCAA Marketplace, LinkedIn, random job. Like, sometimes I literally just be like, director of basketball operations jobs, please, Lord, help me. And that's what I put in the search engine. But I would follow up on those emails. And then I would also just check like their websites or their social media, because there have been times where like my application was pulled and then it was looked through again and they're like, okay, you're on the next step. And then when I got that email, I checked social media and they had already hired that position. So it's like, it's not always in real time. So you're going to have to do more than just apply to jobs, because I know people have their whole job spreadsheet and they're like, I applied to 200 jobs. It's like, okay, are you following up with these people? Have you even checked if the position is filled? Like, there's more work to be done. And it is very stressful. It is very taxing. And it's also really sad when you get so far into the interview process and then they're just like, no, no, got you. It can be discouraging for sure, but it's literally just all a part of the process. Like I said, like, this industry is about building relationship, not just resumes. Obviously, like, you want to do well, perform well, have good reviews from your coaches and different things like that, but getting to know people and getting them to know, how you work, what you do, and how you would be an asset to their program is huge. And at the end of the day of my job process, even though I applied to some of those positions, got interviews and different things like that, at the end of the day, the job that I had been selected for was because of my networking. And it was due to vertical networking. My athletic director actually recommended me to another program, and I'm able to be with them. And he put in my name and I went through the same exact interview process. I had to fill out the same exact application, but because he knew how I worked and believed in me, he put my name in the hat, and then I was able to do the work after that to really prove to them, like, hey, I really think I could be an asset to your program. So that is just the perfect example of doing the work, following up. It was a very tedious, very long process. I had a whole like notes pad of like jobs applied, and like I would spend nights like redoing my resume and like color coding and sending it out to people. But that's just like a part of it sometimes. Sometimes you got to do that. And speaking of getting there, any job opportunity can open doors to anything. So I know that sometimes people just, you see the name, you see the big SEC or ACC school, or you see the big coach that just got hired and you're like, oh, I gotta go to this place, I gotta do these things, but you have no idea what jobs can open up to. I didn't know accepting a position to a mid-major school in Northeast Ohio would land me, being a part of a championship team my second year. I didn't know that working hard and busting my behind for 3 years, even though at times it was taxing, like not a lot of money or anything like that, would then lead me to a position where it's a well-established championship program. It's in a beautiful location. I love my head coach. And I almost doubled my salary within the first 2 years of me working. So never be discouraged by the name. Like, make sure it's the place for you as well. Like, after you go through all that work, all those interviews, all that applying and endless nights of worry and everything else, like, you want to make sure it's the right place for you. So don't just accept a job just because of the name or the title. Like, make sure you also fit the position, because you deserve that as well. If you take anything from this video, it's like to not be discouraged through the job process, because it can be daunting. For me personally, I'm a woman of faith, so prayer over everything. Like, I went through an entire interview process, got to the very last part, talked to the coach, all the assistants, like, loved them. It was a great interview. We were laughing, cutting up, and then I finally got the call and she was just like, I can't, like, you don't have enough experience, basically. But because I interviewed really well, kept up in contact with her, followed up via email, she was like, you know what, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And like, if I had another opportunity for you here, I would give it to you, but I just can't. But stay in contact. Again, I started to build a vertical network. She's a very well-established coach, so she knows my name, she knows what I can do, and she knows that I'm continuing to get experience. So we only know what that could look like in the future. But that was very, very discouraging. And if I had just given up or just been like, whatever, I could have just given up then. And that's what I felt like, honestly. But through prayer and a lot more work and a lot more networking and letting other people know, letting more people in my vertical network know that I am still interested in working in the job industry and like I really need to find a job, I was able to land on a position. You just never know when that door is going to turn, because from the time I got the no, crying, sad, it was probably like 2 weeks, if that I had another opportunity that was much better for me. So don't give up, do not give up. Keep on praying over it. That is my advice for navigating the job industry. So at the end of all of these videos, I did this in the last video, I just want to do like a Q&A section, but obviously it has to be questions that I kind of come up with, questions about the topic or frequently asked questions I get just as a DOBO. So if you have any more questions, make sure you comment them below, because I'll just add that to the next video. But our first question is, how do you stay in touch without being annoying? And I feel like this is very daunting for networking, because you always feel like you're bothering someone. But I would say like 9 times out of 10, if someone's not responding to you, it's simply because they're busy. Like, I feel so bad when I take like 3 days to respond to a DM or like an email, but it's like, it's literally just the name of the game. And I don't think you can be annoying. I personally don't get annoyed if people reach out to me, but that's probably because I always obviously talk about it. I'm very passionate about it. But following up just via email, hey, just wanted to make sure you saw this. I know it's a busy time in the season, but if you have any time, I'd really, really appreciate it. And I think you can kind of use your own discernment to see, well, hey, this is probably like a dead end, I'm never going to get anywhere. Or, hey, you know, it is the middle of March, like there's no way like she can see this right now. And then obviously based on people as well, like I don't think I would just email Dawn Saley and expect her to get back to me within like 15 minutes. Like, that's just not a thing. And that could also just be like, you know what, maybe this is not the person that can help me with it. Maybe somebody on our staff could, or somebody else. But I wouldn't be afraid to follow up. I think it shows that you're very interested, you're very passionate about it. And that could be the difference in between you getting the position and somebody else, because a lot of people, again, have those spreadsheets or just filling out things or busting out different applications every day, and not necessarily following up. Next question is, if I didn't play in college, can I still work in sports? Yes, absolutely. I would say like probably at least a fourth of the people working in sports, probably a lot more than that, did not play sports in college, depending on if you're working in collegiate sports or professional sports or what that looks like. But I know people who haven't touched a ball in their life that work in sports. Because sports is not just coaching, right? You have operations, you have logistics, marketing, social media, photography, videography, video coordinator. You have so many different things. Like, You just have to be an asset to that program. Like, you have to show them why you would enhance what they already have. People do a lot of things, so do not be discouraged if you didn't play in college. I would just say make sure you get a lot of that hands-on experience. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This video will also be the last one in this setting because I am moving and I am moving on. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it in this YouTube video because I think hopefully this is already like publicly announced when this is out, but I will be starting a new position at Old Dominion University. I'm so excited. I will work in operations with women's basketball. I actually just got off the call of our team meeting and I'm so excited. This is a phenomenal opportunity. I cannot wait to see what we do. Yeah, everything from the people, the girls, the players, the facilities, everything just seems like a really great stepping stone, and I'm really excited for that. So shout out ODU, go Monarchs. Yeah, really excited. So if I could do it, guys, if I could do it, guys, you could do it. Because I started off as a little manager, didn't play in college, like, and just busted my behind. Stay faithful, stay prayerful, and stay persistent through the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything. And I've only reaped the benefits of it. I went from being a GA, working 2 jobs, had no car. I was just tired all the time because I was working, go to school. I was just like, this is just never, like, what am I doing this for? Like, this is crazy to really want to do that. And then boom, the next year I became DOBO, went from Greece to March Madness. And then after my second year, you know, my position is going to change. They're going to change it into a coach. I don't want to be a coach. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just did all this work and now there's nowhere else for me. And then I started the job process and I was just so discouraged and just like, oh my gosh, this feels like an endless pit. Like, I'm never going to get it. Thought I was really close to getting the job offer, got denied. Felt like I was just falling back. Felt like I was taking 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. And then finally, on the other side of my persistence, my prayer, my hard work, was a job, and one of the best jobs that I could ever ask for. I'm about to make almost double my pay in a beautiful city with a great team, and we're gonna win a championship. So yeah, guys, don't give up. Don't give up. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to go down and subscribe and like and leave a comment if you have any questions that you want to add to the end of my other videos. I'm trying to get these up like every other week is my goal, but we'll see. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.